I wish he were here with me, with his corny jokes and his cheap cologne. He could look you in the eye and make you feel at home. That's not an easy thing to do, but no one ever knew a more charming creature on this earth than my old man. He was a soldier in the big war, in the Army Infantry Corps, Texas, Oklahoma, the tough hombres, they were there to land on D-Day. And after they dropped the bomb, he came home and married Mom. And not long after that, he was my old man. Oh, the fights we had when my brother and I got him mad. He'd get all boiled up and he'd start to shout. We knew what was coming and we tuned him out. And now the old man's gone, and I'd give all I own to hear what he said when I wasn't listening to my old man. I miss my old man tonight. I can almost see his face. He always told me, remember to have fun, and he made it all the way to 91. For the first time since he died, late last night I cried. I wondered when I was going to do that for my old man.
Traveled here not long ago, straight from the great unknown, and being from that land of dreams, she seems to glow. She has a lovely two-tooth smile, she's just barely 2 feet high, and words are still beyond her reach. She can't speak, but every day she'll say to you, the world is new, and you'll look and you'll see it's true. The world is all brand new. She points at birdies in the sky, waves at people passing by, and nearly everything she sees, she tries to eat. She makes you want to sing a silly tune and dance a jig around the room. And when she giggles in your ear, you'll hear your heart laugh too. And she'll say to you, the world is new. And you'll look and you'll see it's true. The world is all brand new. And she'll say to you, the world is new. And you'll look and you'll see it's true. The world is all brand new. So proclaim the news that the world is new. Every day it's true. The world is all brand new.
Oh, what a hard act to follow. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Welcome to Unitarian Universalist Church West on this lovely Sunday in Brookfield, Wisconsin. We come together today in many places, some here in our sanctuary, others in their living rooms and kitchens. To those of you online, while we can't see you, we appreciate you being with us. And if you are online today, especially if this is your first virtual visit, please reach out to us with an email at visitor@uecw.org. We offer gratitude for the privilege of living and gathering on traditional territory inhabited at various times by many Native peoples. So much of the history of this land has been erased or ignored. Those of us who are settlers and newcomers are beholden to learn that history and engage in the work of reconciliation and reparation. As an anti-racist faith community, we acknowledge our need to address the racism which continues to lead to the violent deaths and oppression of Jews, Black, and Indigenous people, and other people of color. Anti-Semitism, racism, and colonialism continue to perpetuate inequalities, injustices, poverty, and exclusion in our society and our neighborhoods. And it's our work to dismantle these systems of oppression. As a welcoming congregation to gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, and queer plus people, we continue to address ongoing homophobia, violence, and unfair legislation targeting them. Happy Pride Month. Heartfelt thank you to all of you who marched in the Pride Parade last weekend. As our rights are being gradually stripped away and our identities erased, your support keeps our community aware that we are seen and loved. With this awareness close to our bones, we commit ourselves to the values of equity, justice, and right relations. My name is Kathy White, and I serve on your board of trustees. I'm so happy to be here in community with you. Our nursery is open for children up to age 5, and RE for children and middle school youth began at 10 this morning as to the new summer schedule that we have. The exploration table is available for anyone who needs to learn with their hands as well as their ears. If you need to leave the sanctuary for any reason, you're welcome to watch the service in the community room. There are always many ways to be involved here, as you can see in today's order of service. Please read the announcements to keep aware of the upcoming summer schedule and events. And with all that said, let's settle in to a time of worship together.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Jill Braithwaite. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve this congregation as your minister. Thank you to our singers and musicians for their music today. Happy Father's Day to all who are celebrating. As we gather here, we know that there is a time to let go of the steadfast march to complete the to-do list. There is a time to rest and to trust the world will go on. Filled with partners at the ready, all of us splitting shifts on this project of building and healing, tending and turning. Come into this place, study stillness and joy. Know your belovedness like a memory calling out from the center of your being. Feel here gratitude rising and praise for this chance to begin again this day with hope. And now I ask Kathy to light our chalice as we speak together our words for chalice lighting, which are printed in your order of service. Each of us was created in the image of love. Wherever we come from, wherever we're going, whoever we are, whomever we love, we proclaim with love on our side, our bodies are sacred, our minds are blessed, our spirits are beloved. May we be open to receive more love, always more love. Now please rise in body and or spirit, and we'll sing hymn number 1000, Morning Has Come.
With joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of glory shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey Take dawns once more the gift is Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open our eyes to see that life abounds. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of love here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
We enter now a time for sharing of joys and sorrows that touch our individual lives. One way that we express as a congregation, through ritual, the many ways that we care for one another. In a moment, you'll be invited to come to the mic to share aloud. If you have something that you'd rather not share aloud, you can use the QR code on the order of service or the share side of the blue slip you received to put something in writing. And at any time during the week, you can use the link in the e-news to let us know what's on your heart. What you share now is only for the ears of those gathered here. It will not be posted online or in the e-news. So now, please come to the mic to speak if you choose to, or raise your hand and an usher will bring you a mic. I will light a candle for you, and after each sharing, I invite you all to respond with me, "We hold you in love." You can form a line to the side. To folks attending online, we hold you in love as well. And now we place one last candle for those joys and concerns not shared but held deep in our hearts. We hold you in love. Now let's pause and breathe together and hold all that's been shared in our hearts. Will you join me now in a spirit of prayer or meditation as I share words from Reverend A.J. Van Tyne that were written yesterday? Spirit of democracy and liberty that is unquenchable within us and within the best traditions of our shared nation, be with us in these days of turmoil, of upheaval, of change. May the changes we demand come from the sweat of our own labor. May the errors of this age lead us to better wisdom about how to live with one another, about how to build up societies and nations and governments and communities. May the evil that stalks our land be met with resistance and compassionate strength. May those who are most targeted and victimized by state violence find allies, support, and liberation. May all war and escalating violence and genocide give way to peace and reparation. May everything become whole somehow. Amen. And blessed be. Now please remain seated and we'll sing together hymn number 1009, Meditation on Breathing.
We'll sing this a number of times. Once you know it, you can close your eyes and enjoy. If you know any of the other parts, go ahead and sing those too. I'll sing the melody. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Our first reading is Even This Is Enough by Vanessa Southern. So much undone, so much to do, so much to heal in us and the world. So much to acquire: a meal, a healthy body, a fit one, a lover, a job, a better job. Proof we have and are enough, just around the corner of now. And up against it, the reality of all that falls short and the limits of today. We honor the limits. If your body won't do what it used to, for right now, let it be enough. If your mind won't stop racing or can't think of the word, let it be enough. If you are here utterly alone and in despair, be all that here with us. If today you cannot sing because your throat hurts or you don't have the heart for music, be silent. When the offering plate goes around, if you don't have money to give or the heart to give, let it pass. The world won't stop spinning on her axis if you don't rise to all occasions today. Love won't cease to flow in your direction. Your heart won't stop beating, and hope won't be lost. You are part of the plan for this world's salvation. Of that I have no doubt. The world needs its oceans of people striving to be good, to carry us to the shores of hope and wash fear from the beachheads, and cleanse all wounds so they can heal. But oceans are big, and I am sure there are parts that don't feel up to the task of the whole some days. Rest if you must, then, like the swimmer lying on her back who floats, or the hawk carried on cushions of air. Rest in pews made to hold weary lives in space, carved out for the doing of nothing much, but being. Perhaps then you will feel in your bones, in your weary heart, the aching, healing sense that this is enough, even this, that we are enough. You are enough. Enough. Our second reading is by Audre Lorde from her book, A Burst of Light. Caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare.
And now let's rise in body and or spirit and sing together hymn number 1007. There's a river flowing in my soul.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind, and it's telling me that I'm a river flowing, there's a river flowing in my soul.
How much more than necessary do we spend in sleep, forgetting that the sleeping fox catches no poultry, and that there will be sleeping enough in the grave? These are words from American founding father Benjamin Franklin in his book, Poor Richard's Almanac. American culture has long celebrated the idea of the worker who conquers their very physiology and gets 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night, trading the non-productivity of rest for work and progress. The phrase, "I'll sleep when I'm dead," has got to be a simplified version of Franklin's words, right? Over the years, I have been part of several workplace cultures where it was a badge of honor to get 4 hours of sleep and then crush it the next day at your big presentation. I was never that hardcore, but I know that pressure. According to a study released recently, 1 in 3 Americans report not getting the sleep their bodies need. 1 in 4 report being very sleepy during the day. Scientists know that sleep deficit can play a part in negative health outcomes, including diabetes, heart disease, depression, anxiety. And even if we are sleeping a decent amount at night, I hear from so many people about experiencing overfull days, feeling exhausted, too many stresses and anxieties, such that sleep is like a short respite rather than a restorative time. What is it that keeps us from getting the rest we need? There's no one thing, of course. There are many, many things. Health challenges, both physiological and psychological, are a factor for so many people. Obviously, economic insecurity means that some people have much more access to rest than others do. For countless people in this country and around the world, that means carrying the weight of that insecurity, working too many hours, often in jobs that make unreasonable and inhumane demands on workers' bodies, minds, and spirits. And we also know well that people of color are disproportionately represented in the jobs that most exploit the body and compensate the least. These days, there is also the attention economy that fights for our eyeballs 24/7. Facebook, TikTok, even the darn gas pump now shouts at me and interrupts what I used to enjoy as a brief meditative moment, putting gas in my car. And in case you didn't know, there's a little mute button on the right side of the screen. For many of us, when it comes right down to it, I think a major factor keeping us from rest is an underlying sense that we are not enough. Consciously or not, a feeling that we must be doing, earning, improving, catching up on the latest, getting better, looking better, being more productive. And on top of that, you probably aren't having enough fun either. Anybody relate to this? There's a current movement in this country led by Black women to bring about a rest revolution. Artist and theologian Tricia Hersey founded what she calls the NAP Ministry in 2016. On social media, she sometimes goes by the name the NAP Bishop. That's where I first came across her on Instagram. Hersey started holding public napping events in 2017, and she was amazed when dozens and dozens of people showed up. Hersey proclaims that rest, and specifically napping, provide us humans with a healing portal that we need. A healing portal that allows us access to imagining, creating, healing, and resisting. Taking time for rest enables more balance and presence in our lives. Hersey says we've been falsely taught to believe that our worth comes from working and doing nonstop. Her invitation is this: you are enough. Won't you come and rest? I'll come back to her in a minute. Claiming a right and even an obligation to rest is an ancient practice. The world's great religions tell us that rest is a sacred practice. The Tao Te Ching speaks about Sabbath rest this way, quote, "Clay is molded to make a pot, but it is in the space where there is nothing that the usefulness of the clay pot lives. Doors and windows and walls make a room, but it is in the spaces where there is nothing that the usefulness of the room lies. Benefit may be derived from something, but it is in nothing that we find usefulness." You're probably familiar with the ancient Jewish tradition of Sabbath, taking a day of rest each week. It's in the dang Ten Commandments. It might be posted on a classroom near us right now. Hebrew Bible scholar Walter Brueggemann, who died just last week, unpacks this practice in his book called Sabbath as Resistance, Saying No to the Culture of Now. Brueggemann recommends to a contemporary secular audience that we revive the Sabbath as a core spiritual practice. His instructions for doing so are these: you do not have to do more, sell more, control more, or know more. You do not have to be younger or more beautiful. Striving, he says, is one of our greatest spiritual diseases. And a Sabbath practice is a healing form of resistance. And let us consider the creation story in Genesis that says what God did after he created all of the universe. What did he do next? He rested. He didn't justify it or explain it or put up an out-of-office message that said he'd be checking emails. He rested. Walter Brueggemann points out, quote, "That divine rest on the seventh day of creation has made clear, A, that Yahweh is not a workaholic, B, that Yahweh is not anxious about the full functioning of creation, and C, that the well-being of creation does not depend on endless work." Now let's return to Tricia Hersey and her nap ministry. Hersey talks about how resting takes many forms in addition to naps. It can be closing your eyes for 10 minutes, meditating on the couch for 20 minutes, daydreaming for a while, staring out the window. I like that kind of rest. Just looking at the ceiling, letting things unfold. Can be not immediately responding to texts or emails, even if that's a 1-hour break. A long, warm bath. Tricia Hersey's core message is this: rest is a form of resistance because it disrupts and pushes back against capitalism and white supremacy. Untempered capitalism doesn't want us checking out for a while. It seeks to make use of our bodies, minds, and spirits as tools for production and consumption and for generating profit. And this authoritarian regime wants us tired. It wants us exhausted. Rest is resistance. Now back to Tricia Hersey. Her NAP ministry was born during the time when she was working in a university archive that held many narratives of the lives of enslaved people. She was reading document after document that were things like bills of sale that said, 1 horse, $50, 1 black child, $20. So she spent a lot of time reflecting about what the life of an enslaved person would have had to been like, and reckoning with the unspeakable pain and the legacy of these realities. Owning exactly nothing about your body and your life, nothing. Having no control at all over how much rest you got. And Hersey started thinking about the effects of this on subsequent generations. And she began thinking about rest as one form of reparations for the cruelty and exploitation suffered by her enslaved ancestors. The generational effects of white supremacy culture include great disparities in who can safely question their participation in productivity culture. I've heard people whisper about a coworker who takes all their vacation time, questioning their commitment to the job. And we have been fed insidious and profoundly false racial stereotypes that make some people more vulnerable than others to being judged to be lazy. Now, I'm sure there's a wide spectrum in the room here in terms of how we think and feel about naps and rest. What I'm inviting us to do today is to consciously consider our relationship with rest and how claiming rest can be a sacred spiritual practice that enriches our lives and a form of resistance to oppressive systems. Now, I guess here would be a good place to confess that I generally get 8, sometimes 9 hours of sleep a night. It feels like a confession because of those received messages that I should be so busy that I can't possibly manage that much sleep. But I have learned over time that when I listen to and respect and respond to my body's need for rest, I am a more aligned and present person in the world. I have noticed that often when I'm disappointed in how I show up, it's when I'm tired. Some questions to ponder. Whose rules or standards about what's enough might be keeping you from rest and peace? Whom does it serve for you to not sufficiently rest? Put another way, whose rest might you be supporting by not getting enough rest? Now, I must note for parents of infants that might be listening, none of this applies to you. You are in a low rest phase that goes along with the great love of parenting, and it is outside the scope of my reflection today. But please know that we do wish you rest. What if, when it comes to claiming our right to rest, we Unitarian Universalists apply our first principle, which says, we covenant to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Inherent worth. Not worth that is earned, but inherent worth. And yes, I think church is a particularly good place for us to help each other know that we deserve rest just as we are. In fact, I wonder if you'll join me in a short affirmation. Let's see how this feels. Will you put a hand over your heart and say after me, I am enough. I am enough. Another time, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. And now will you open your hand towards someone near you, or open it up towards someone not here with us today to whom you'd like to send this message, and repeat after me. You are enough. You are enough. Once more, you are enough. You are enough. One more time. You are enough. Friends, I want to live in a world that affirms that each person is sacred, worthy, and enough, just as they are. Whether you find that you have the rest you need or not, or you're working on it, let us make connections between that and the movements for liberation happening in this dark time. Movements that resist the oppressive systems that will take everything from us they can get. Let us connect issues like the minimum wage, police violence, and housing insecurity to the sleep deficits suffered by so many. Let us know in our souls that all people, all bodies, all spirits have a divine right to rest, that none of us should be caught in the gears of systems that see us as machines. I want to leave you with words from the invocation that Tricia Hersey has used to welcome the thousands of people that have attended her public napping events. She says, "This is an invitation for weary souls to rest. This is a resistance. This is a protest. This is a counter-narrative to the lie that we all aren't doing enough. You are enough simply by being alive." She says, "Thank you for living. Thank you for resisting. Thank you for creating. Thank you for dreaming. Thank you for resting. This is a resistance. This is a protest." May it be so, and amen.
UUCW's Split the Plate program is one of outreach and generosity. Each month, we give half of all undesignated offerings to a nonprofit organization to help us live our Unitarian Universalist values, pursue the goal of social justice, and serve our community. Dreamers of Wisconsin is a nonprofit organization whose sole mission is to advocate for and support undocumented students pursuing higher education. As an education-focused nonprofit organization, they work with undocumented students to navigate and transition into higher education. Since President Obama recognized the worth of this group, a word has been coined: the documented. Dreamers of Wisconsin is the first organization in Wisconsin to support young and not so young people in this group who pursue higher education. Since 2022, it has been helping people who may have come here as youngsters with their immigrant families. They are achieving a wide variety of goals that enrich their lives and ours. Your donation will help to make that happen. And I'm technologically challenged, so imagine what could be on there. And maybe our technical expert will make me look good. Oh, she couldn't have a problem. I don't know. I may have broken it. But back to the important points here. If you are participating virtually, please go to the UECW website's Donate tab and select Split the Plate from the menu provided. Or you can text or mail your donation today using the information. Wow, found. Miracles still happen. The information found right here on the screen. Okay, today I thank you for your generosity to Dreamers of Wisconsin and to UECW. We thank you most sincerely for your support.
Charlie Parker. And now let us speak together the words for our offering dedication, which are printed in your order of service. To the work of this community, which is to ground ourselves in love and joy, and to act for inclusion and justice, we dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings. Now please rise in body and or spirit, and we'll sing 1058, Be Ours a Religion.
Be ours a religion, which like sunshine goes everywhere. Its temple, all space, its shrine, the good heart, its creed, all truth, its ritual works of love. Be ours a religion, which like sunshine goes everywhere. Its temple, all space, its shrine, the good heart, its creed, all truth, its ritual works of love.
Dear ones, may you know in your heart that you are enough. May you claim your own divine right to rest. May we fight for a world in which all can exercise their right to rest. And may this world know the peace that comes from justice. Blessed be, and amen.